Hi, and welcome to this Celtic Skies educational video. Over the course of 3 lessons, we will take a close look into the world of Covid-19. In Lesson 1, we examine the virus and the cells that make up our body. In Lesson 2, we will see how the virus invades our cells and makes us unwell. And in Lesson 3, we learn how our cells can fight back. But a word of caution, science is always learning. There are things we still do not know about the virus, but we have a good idea and we are finding out new things every day. However, as we learn more, some of these details in this video may change. Always question things, always check the facts. Remember, without science, it's fiction. And so, on with the first lesson, the virus and the human cell. The COVID virus is a round membrane envelope with particles called proteins sticking out of it like spikes on a hedgehog. If we sliced it open, we would see that the envelope and proteins surround the virus's genetic material. This genetic material contains the instructions on how to make more viruses. It is only 120 nanometers wide. The smallest unit on a ruler is 1 millimeter, and there are 1,000,000 nanometers in 1 millimeter. To make a virus particle as big as a Lego head, we would have to magnify its height by 108,000 times. If we magnify the Lego head by the same amount, it would be 1.4 kilometers high, a tower over the world's tallest buildings. So how can something this small make us so sick? As you know, a building is made up of a lot of bricks stacked together. Our bodies are a bit like that, except we are built out of cells, not bricks. Now a brick is, well, just a brick, but our cells are like mini factories. Main areas are the nucleus and the cytoplasm where all the cell organelles are. The nucleus contains our genetic material, and this contains all the instructions for the cell. The cell organelles do all the work, and they get their instructions from the nucleus. We are made up of a load of different types of cells. Each cell knows what it has to do because they each have a nucleus to instruct them. Let's take a closer look inside the cell with our Lego magnifier to see how this works. Our Lego cell has a nucleus, a nuclear membrane, and a cytoplasm with lots of cell organelles in it. When a task has to be done in the cell, a special molecule is sent to the nucleus to get the instructions. Another molecule in the nucleus locates the correct genetic instruction, called a gene, and makes a copy, and gives this copy to the waiting molecule. The original gene is called DNA and the copy is called RNA. The RNA is then transferred to a special cell organelle where it is used to make the molecules needed to carry out the task. The task might be to get oxygen from the blood, if it is a lung cell, or get energy from food, if it's a gut cell. So now we have been introduced to the COVID virus and the human cell. If we take a close look at how the virus enters our cells, we can see that the protein particles that stick out of the virus can click into protein particles that stick out of the human cell. It is a bit like the virus particles are a key that fit into the cell's particles that are a lock. This allows the virus to unlock the cell and it can get into the cell's cytoplasm. To see what happens next, we need to use our Lego magnifier. Remember in the first movie we saw inside the cell and it was making the molecules it needed using the RNA genetic instructions it got from the nucleus. Well, the virus particle well inside the cell takes out its own genetic RNA material and using one of its special proteins it hijacks the cell and replaces the cell's RNA material with its own RNA material, and it starts making new molecules to make more virus particles. It stops the cell from doing its proper work and uses all the cell's energy to make more and more virus particles. Eventually the cell gets run down and can no longer work. The new virus particles leave the cell. Some invade more cells, while others leave our body in water particles that are ejected when we sneeze or cough. The particles fly through the air, and if someone else is close enough, they might land on that person. And if that person touches their face with a dirty hand, the virus might get into them. The COVID virus can affect lung cells, and this can affect our ability to breathe properly and will make us ill. And that is how something so small can make us so sick. And this is why it's important to keep your distance from people while the virus is active. Now you know how the COVID virus makes us sick. In our final lesson, we will learn how our immune system can fight back at the virus. Your immune system is a collection of very special cells in your body that act like soldiers ready to fight the virus. We will look at 3 very important cells in the immune system: the T cells, the B cells, and the phagocytes. Your body has a whole army of these cells, and when they meet the virus, they go to battle. This is the phagocyte cell. It is a large cell that goes around our bodies looking for particles that might be harmful, like viruses. When it finds a virus, this large cell can wrap itself around the virus and swallow it up. Inside the cell, the phagocyte has special enzyme molecules that can break the virus up into pieces and then eject it back out. It can also hold on to the virus's surface protein. Do you remember this was the protein that the virus uses to unlock the cell and get in? The phagocyte meets up with a T cell. T cells can do different things. Some can fight and kill the virus in the cell. Others, called helper T cells, can take the virus protein and bring it to the B cells. It can examine the virus protein and then make another protein that fits around it perfectly, making the key useless. Imagine if someone put chewing gum on your front door key. You couldn't use it. This new protein that the B cell makes is called an antibody. And once it has figured out how to make it, it can make loads and loads. It pushes out the new protein, which eventually finds the virus particles and sticks to it. You will recall how the virus unlocked the cell using its surface protein. Well, now with the antibody stuck to it, it can no longer fit in the cell's receptor protein, and so it can't get in, and the cell is saved. After many days of defending and attacking, our immune system eventually wins the war and the virus is defeated. While the battle is going on, you may feel ill, but because you are young and strong, you can win the battle. But some older people and people who are ill with other conditions may find it much harder to win the battle, and sadly for some, they may lose it. That is why it is so important to avoid the virus in the first place, because the best defense is not to let the virus in at all. Stay safe, stay home. If we follow the instructions from the government by washing our hands properly, sneezing into our elbow, cleaning up around us, and keeping a safe distance from others, we will defeat the COVID-19 virus.